Very good morning to all. Hope you're doing well. We'll start the QDB scores. We can see the pound Swiss is strongest and the euro pound is the weakest. So really these are potentially good trades because we're quite neutral. So what we'd be looking for is something with a good score that's negative. So we're looking to buy the dip. And I guess with this one, we still got a lot of gas left in the tank. Perhaps ideally it could go positive, then we could get a better entry. But however, they are neutral. So they haven't really done much, so they're just waiting for direction. So we could get a good entry on pound Swiss for a long, could get a good entry on euro pound for a short. The herd are getting a bit squished. They could be getting a little bit more punished, but 60% is okay. And so that's it. So perhaps look for pound Swiss, perhaps look for the euro pound for trades today. So something that you could perhaps do if you're already quite good at technicals. And they could be on your radar, potentially. So let's look at our robot. That's confusing. I'll bring that over. Okay, so we need GA to fall, pound Aussie, and we'd like Aussie USD to rally, and we'd like the euro pound to sell, which that looks like it's possible. The euro pound might be good. See, we're actually into positive on that one, and so this is how we stand now. We had an okay day. Yeah, we had an okay day yesterday, but we need to see these clear ideally. And if we do see some big moves, then that'd be nice. So we want the dollar CAD to fall. We want Aussie USD to rise, basically, and that's how we are positioned. So we'll have to wait and see how we go. We've still got a very big day today, and then we've got well, don't forget we've got the PPI as well, and then the Fed interest rate decision. Will they sit on their hands? Possibly. And then we've got the ECB tomorrow, and they've got the BOJ. And also, don't forget we had our UK data out as well. So we've got lots of economic data out, and ideally we see a big move so we can de-risk, because we've probably got a bit too many positions running. And if you get an opportunity, see that video I posted last night about the different method of approach is that we would only trade it if it was negative. So Aussie CAD would be a contender for a long. Say hypothetically that was the strongest, we would then enter long because it was negative. So we got a good entry. That's the logic there. And I'm on my remote desktop, so it hasn't populated that data. I'll do that later. And so let's look at your indices. So potentially, if you fancied it, you could have a sell idea where you'd have your stop at 34157 or 160 because they've gone long, or so I say less short. So this is a big stop run, I think. So I mean, you could even move your stop as a head entry and then see if it falls. The thing is, it will pump, so you'll probably get out a break even. But if you did fancy like a gamble, I can't really recommend that you gamble, but if you fancied like a flutter, I suppose, and you know where your risk is, it's probably like an intelligent risk, isn't it? It's you could look for a sell there, 34160, 30 points. So it's quite a cheap stop, but very tricky because you don't really want to be fighting a massive trend like this. However, we have had the risky sell, so be careful if you are considering it, and just know where your exit is, and definitely don't move your stop higher because it will come up to pump, and you'll be really play havoc with your account. You don't want to be doing that. So know where your exit is. So basically that candle wick high and S&P, and yeah, likewise there's not so much as new bulls. This is less bears, so this is a big stop run. So I mean, there could be new bulls entering here potentially, but I think there's a lot of people trapped in this market and they're having to exit, and that's them exiting there. So likewise, if you wanted to, 3475, gotta be careful though. And remember, if this falls, then we're going to see a bit of a flight to safety as well, and the dollar's probably going to appreciate. And DAX. And yeah, so likewise, we're making risky sells on all the indices. So the level of note there, I guess probably 16230 would be a stop. But you've got to be careful because you'd be fighting this trend, and you probably shouldn't really be trying to call in tops and bottoms, but we have made a risky sell. One thing to note about the indices, if we do fall, they're very quick to sell, and then by selling it, we see a pump. So you've got to be careful. So if you're going to sell it, you've got to put a trailing stop in. So, you know, it fell, they were quick to get on board. As soon as they started to really sell it, up we come. So it's probably going to happen again. So risky sells on the indices, and it's probably going to be a little bit destructive for our robot because we were quite risk on our robot. So if we go risk off today up to the Fed, then it's going to be quite bad and for our robot, and we're going to probably undergo quite a lot of drawdown because our robot's positioned for risk on. So that's important to note. And I'm not sure if we're going to have a risk on day today. Let's see. So these are making risky sells, and I'm positioned on my personal account for risk on as well, so I need to be checking that. So sell, they've sold it, so it's a buy, and we can make a box really here, so we shouldn't really be below that level. Yeah, this should be a support because they sold it. It should be coming up higher. However, if we're going a little bit risk off, this is going to be fluctuating quite a bit. So just a heads up there, slightly heavy on the indices. We probably could say we're topping out a little bit intraday, a little bit de-risking from the big fish, and our robot's positioned for risk on. So it might be that we're going to have like quite a bit of drawdown on our robot, but we'll have to wait and see. Don't forget, things can't move in straight lines. Risk has to fluctuate on and off, on and off. And by doing so, we're going to have lots of big zigzags. So I'll wrap up now, and I'll speak to you guys later for the Fed meeting, and perhaps I'll be back for the PPI. Well, I should be back for that. I'm not going anywhere, but I don't tend to want to stay in my office if it's really, really hot. It's another hot day today.